Hello, and welcome to my channel. I'm gonna be talking about things I like to talk about, and one of those things includes my Minecraft world. I put a lot of effort into it with some of my friends over like the 2 years, and we made a parasite version, like an apocalyptic subversion. So I'm gonna go into that. So this is Westpocolyspe 1895. Now, it obviously takes place in the year 1895. I'm not going to go into the specifics, but you see, there's this nation called Monument Point. It existed on the west side of my world. It was mainly situated on an island, but it had some mainland connections via small series of archipelagos leading to the mainland. Well, around the beginning of 1895, around January 19th, was a rare astronomical event, you could say. An asteroid ended up hitting the coasts of Monument Point. It didn't cause any damage, though. It was too far out. It was a small asteroid, but it did cause a spectacle. The locals saw it, and they thought nothing of it. That changed about 3 days later when, that asteroid was carrying a parasitic alien virus that spread out into the water on the microbial level. Now, they didn't target fish for some reason. Fish was not in their evolutionary infection, you could say. But they did travel through the water supply and ended up infecting the livestock and the people, which started turning them aggressive. An infected would show the following traits: dull eyes, grayish skin, purplish growths, and most importantly, heightened aggression and necrosis. They eventually started to overwhelm the island, and that's where we get to the first and most earliest confrontation, you could say, which is Monument Point Town Square. Well, it's not actually the town square region. Actually, it's more of the docks and under the town square. You see, the parasites were able to envelop most of the beleaguered city. Now, the defenders had no other choice but to prepare an evacuation of the island. Now, before the parasite started to even spread on Monument Point, a little while earlier there was a war between the powers of Centralia and Serdansk over a small territory Centralia owned called Spruce Juice Forest. Serdansk tried to take the forest from them for their own gain, but due to the arrival of the parasite and their both shared fears of what this thing could do, they made a treaty and decided to team up. They sent their forces to the docks of Monument Point and established a perimeter around the last parts of the city, where they was able to team up with local Monument Point defenders and evacuate as many civilians as they can into their territories, and hold off and slow the infection as long as possible and wait out for a rescue. The fighting began. They arrived late at the break of dusk, and they basically were just fighting the parasites. Now, a little side tidbit: the reason why it's dusk is it's symbolic in a way. The sun setting is like how the old world is collapsing, and the moon rising is how the new world, the infected new world order, is arriving. Anyways, long story short, after about a whole bloody night of fighting them off, they were able to get most of the people off the island, and then their respective navies came to pick them up and evacuate them to their areas, which concludes the first confrontation. While the events of the first confrontation were happening, a little while later, if not at the same time, over in Monument Point's colony of Orienta, or Oriental Colony for short, a group of survivors in the remaining army there was also getting overran by the parasites, as they had made their way relatively quickly to their side of the world, just the other ocean away, and they was able to overwhelm the population there, causing them to have to retreat near the docks as well. They were hoping for some sort of a rescue from the army or anybody, so they had to fight and fight, but it didn't really last long. They were only able to survive one night, and they were overwhelmed, and nobody really came to save them. But that's actually pretty much that. And also, on a side note, Oriental Colony became the not most infected area, but literally no survivors ever stepped foot in that land after that, due to how far away it is from everything else, kind of, and, the friggin' parasites walking around. And it had no real use, to be honest. And then finally, this isn't the last one, but this will be the last I cover for this video. This one takes place after the events of those two, because they took place relatively at the same time. We find ourselves in Central City. So, by the time everyone got evacuated on Monument Point, they couldn't contain the spread of the parasites anymore, and the parasites started to come off the island, and they reached the mainland. Central City was the first line of defense, and they fell into disorder quickly. I'll tell you real quickly. They had cannon batteries and positions set up on the river, but the parasites just rushed in, and people just started running, and eventually, Central City became no more. At the same time, a little bit later at the same time, Woodington, a town north of Central City along the inlet, also managed to fall, but we're not going to cover that today. We're only focused on Central City. So after Central City fell, some people still lived on their own there, but a group of people managed to form some sort of an alliance, and they managed to use the abandoned nether material productions factory as a sort of base. One day, a large parasite horde attacked them. They started coming out from the windows and the main doorways and the sides. So the survivors were trapped and had no other choice but to fight until they cleared them off. But no one came to help them as well, because nobody knows. And they died. A lot of parasitic sheep came out the front entrance because of the location of the wool mill, which got under infestation. But yeah, that's about, I guess I'm gonna call it a day. I mean, this is my first video. Whoever sees this, mainly my friends though. Have a nice day. Au revoir.